Buenos dias, good morning. Thank you for joining in today. I hope you are hanging in there, staying positive and focusing on what you can control. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have your cafecito or morning drink beverage of choice ready to go. My name is Patricia Mota. I'm currently serving as President and CEO for HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, our mission to positively impact the American workplace by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent. Just a few things before we get started with today's guest is our Mujeres de HACE and our Emerging Leaders Spring Cohort Program. The deadline is March 15th. Please visit the website for additional information for those individuals that are applying, but also if your employer has nominated you, it's the same deadline for March 15th. And also this year, coming off of the heels of such an inspirational week last week, we're also announcing our 2021 theme of the year. We lead at the intersection of identity, equity, and unity. So please stay tuned for additional information in our newsletter this afternoon. So today we're talking about careers, both for those that have gotten into a new role, but those that are also looking for that next opportunity. And so I'm excited to welcome Jose Pinero, who's a business and career coach, who has done a lot of work with HACE over the years, especially last year, of being one of our co-leads or facilitators for our Emerging Leaders program. Jose, buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
Buenos dias. I'm super thrilled to be here. Mucho gusto to see everybody. And Patricia, it's great to see you again. I'm very excited to be here and have a quick chat with a lot of people who are wanting to either accelerate their career, thinking about the future, and how to do the best with 2021.
Absolutely, Jose. I mean, we went from seeing each other, at least on a weekly basis because of some of the programs that we were leading to then. So yeah, happy to see you here in this new and great year that we have upon for all of us. And so our first question, and then before I ask you, Jose, please, to our guests tuning in, get your questions ready. Please share, comments, and like. We're going to have some time for a couple of questions towards the end of our conversation. So, Jose, please tell us, how do you like your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice?
Yeah, so I have my coffee here. I am from Puerto Rico, that has great coffee, but I have lived in Seattle most of my professional life. And, Seattle is like the coffee capital of the US with Starbucks and all these coffee shops. So my coffee, here's the trick to my coffee is that it's almost hot chocolate. So what I order, it's a hazelnut mocha with almond milk. So basically, it's like a super amazing hot chocolate like a Nutella drink with a little bit of coffee. And I love that drink. And now there are a few places that I go, and they know I'm the only guy who orders hazelnut mocha with almond milk. And that's my daily drink. And it's one of life's great pleasures. So I love going out for my drink every day.
Love it. A little bit of sweetness and Nutella in there.
Yeah.
And we've got to learn a lot about you, or at least our cohort, right? Our participants, in terms of your background and your, in terms of not only your cultural background, but your professional background. Can you share a little bit more with our audience today?
Absolutely. So as I said, I'm from Puerto Rico. I grew up and I was raised in Puerto Rico. I stayed there until I finished high school. I came to study in the continental US. So I went to Cornell University and then Georgetown for an MBA. Then I worked for Procter & Gamble doing classic brand marketing, brand management. And then Microsoft found me in a convention. And I thought I was going to Microsoft for a few years. I was there for almost 19 years. Yeah. And after that, I have founded a few companies. Then I became an executive and I ran a $48 million business for a publicly traded company. I've done consulting. And during the last 4 years, most of what I have done, it's basically business and career coaching. So basically helping people build a better life and a better career. And I love doing that because I see, I talk to people. I right now I'm coaching professionals from AT&T, Bank of America, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Merck, Under Armour, Whirlpool, tons of companies. And I see the same themes. That everybody wants to be happy with their life and their career. And my goal is to help them understand who are they, what do they really want and what makes them happy. So it's a wonderful, journey as I work together with people to help them understand not only who they are, but what they want and how to achieve it. So it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that, right? And we've gotten to work together quite a bit, and I think that being able to empower individuals to achieve their highest potential, but also to be able to connect and support one another through that process is something that we get to do through our cohorts. And at the beginning of this year, many of us, especially those tuned in on LinkedIn, we saw a lot of movements in terms of new roles, folks transitioning, obtaining new jobs. You'll see the announcements, the notifications. So congratulate them. I want to spend the first couple of minutes talking about what tips or advice do you have for those, especially the majority of them are onboarding remotely, right? So you don't get to see your colleagues in person. But in general, what tips should they keep in mind or consider to ensure that they have a successful onboarding, but also being able to build those connections remotely?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing, 2021 is a new year. Great time for people to, set new goals, to figure out exactly what they want, to make career changes. Luckily for us, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with the pandemic. So companies are not in that mode where you and I saw them last year and being super afraid. Now people are thinking about being more expansive, how to grow, how to pivot and all that. So great time for people to look for new jobs, to make career changes or to set new objectives. So that's great. And then on the people who are joining companies or people who currently have jobs, it's really important that you take advantage of the technology to make sure that you increase your presence. And by that, what I mean is, in the world where most of us are in Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams meetings every day, we have to do extra work to show up. The worst thing that can happen, and you and I saw this in some of the people that were in our cohort, sometimes, people think, oh, I show up to the meeting, I am there, I'm on the camera, I'm listening, I'm taking notes. And they think that that's enough. And the answer is that's not enough. You have to show up. You have to prove your presence. You have to make sure your manager knows who are you, what are you working on, what are you delivering. So the advice we have for people, it's on one side, over communicate, send more emails, send more updates, share, in the team meeting, ensure that you say, hey, I want to take 2 minutes to just share with everybody the progress of what I'm working on. You have to go that extra mile. And then on top of that, and this is kind of funny, but I have gone to so many meetings where people turn off their camera, or people are in some dark setting and you only see their silhouette. Subconsciously, that sends the message that you don't really care or you don't really want to be there. So think about how somebody that doesn't know you well, how he or she may interpret that. And the other thing, in every single Zoom meeting, we recommend either say something or ask a question. Because if your voice was not heard in the meeting, it's kind of like, we're not sure you're really committed. We're not sure that you're really participating. But even when you don't have anything like super, strategic to say, you can just say, hey, I love what Patricia said. Hey, Patricia, can you tell us more about that idea? And just by asking that question, mentally, your boss and the other people will think, oh, Patricia is really proactive. She's really committed. She's doing her part. So in net, over communicate, make sure that your presence via Zoom, via the computer looks good. Make sure you say something. And also, send emails to your manager and say, hey, I'm working on this. What else can I do to bring value to the organization? Because if you consistently ask that question, people are going to give you more responsibility and your boss is going to think that you're doing a really good job.
Yeah, definitely over communicate. And I think all great suggestions, and let's also not, let's add in there the traditional phone calls, right? I think sometimes we forget the value of that, and that could also serve as another resource, another tool. And all the while, right, this is an exciting time for those that have gotten new jobs. We have seen that the unemployment numbers are at the highest it's ever been since July. Let's kind of flip the script in terms of those that are actively seeking their next role, many of which, even that have been looking for many months, right? And there's a ton of reasons as to we're either hearing back from employers, oh, we decided to go in a different direction, or they're not sure where to go themselves just because of all the transitions that have happened. What tips or advice would you have for the job seeker today?
Yeah. So a few things. First, it's good that now things are trending in a different direction. So companies are thinking in different ways. I like I'm not a sports person, but I like the Wayne Gretzky, analogy, which is don't go where the puck is, go where the puck is going, which means think about where companies are going to be 1 year from now and start looking for opportunities in those areas. Given what has happened in the last couple of months, there are, companies are trying to reinvent themselves. If you were in retail or you were in food and beverage, it's a new world. So think about what are these companies needing to do that they didn't have to do before. So for example, some of the even food and beverage and retail, they're doubling down on digital. Why? Because people can buy from wherever they are. Doesn't matter whether they can go into the store or not. Companies want to create more community. Companies are going stronger on social media. So look for those areas that companies, as they pivot, will need more. And then also think about some segments that are going to change or grow. For example, there's a lot of buzz about renewable energy. So, that's going to be a growth area. I'm working, one of my coaching clients, is a renewable energy company. And right now they're just figuring out what will happen 3 years from now, right? And they're creating systems to make that happen. So think about what are the needs of companies that are trying to pivot, or where are things happening? And if you reach out, and this sounds very, very obvious, but it's not about a company giving you a job. It's really about what can you bring or add to a company. What is the business value that you're going to create? What problem are you going to solve for a company? Companies pay us money to solve a problem or to fill a gap, right? Or to manage something that is an issue for them. If you take that mentality, then you will start seeing different opportunities. But it's a really good time to start talking to companies because things are in flux. And when things change, opportunities are created.
Absolutely. Lots of great tips. And I think even what you said earlier about those that are in their new roles or within their current companies, the communication piece, what would that look like for the job seeker? And then we'll start taking any questions, like whether it's their digital footprint on social media. What tips would you have for the job seeker in terms of how do they communicate, right?
Yeah. So I love marketing and I love business. So I love, checking what are the new trends, and it's like in some industries you see like what looks like a cottage industry first. So little people or like little companies doing a few things here and there, and suddenly you start seeing like massive traction. So for example, I think that any digital marketer needs to know how to do Facebook and Google ads. If you don't know how to do Facebook ads or Google ads, and by that I mean really do that, not just know a little bit, but get certified, and those certifications typically are even free. You need to know that. You need to know how to use, how to create sales and marketing funnels. You need to know how to use either like the ClickFunnels types of tools in the world, or like the HubSpot types of marketing tools in the world, because that's where things are going. And you see that with a lot of either small companies or thought leaders starting to use that. That means that most big companies are going to be looking to hire experts in those areas. So think about, when you send a communication to somebody, it's not, hey, I'm looking for a digital marketer job. The message should say something more like, hey, I can create effective campaigns using Facebook ads that create or deliver high value leads at a low cost per acquisition. If you say something to that in an email, that catches somebody's attention, and they'll be like, hey, this woman is an expert in this. Let's talk to her. We need more of that. So be very specific in your communication about, say, what can you do for the company? What value can you bring? What specific skill set can you deliver to them?
Jose, so obviously you're sharing some very valuable nuggets, pieces of advice. And so, we have a question from Taunevi. how can we get in touch with you for, further insight and even for coaching, right? Because you do a lot of that as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I love that. So I'm very easy to find. You please connect with me via LinkedIn. You can also check. I have a couple of websites that you can check. You can check josepinero.com, which is easy. My name and my last name, Jose Pinero. Or you can also check The Cultivation Company, which is one of my companies. You can do a Google search and you can find me pretty easily if you say Jose Pinero Coach also. But definitely love to talk to people, love helping individuals and professionals, because Patricia, you and I, we get so excited when we talk to people, and even more if they are people that have been underestimated before, right? People of color, women, Latinos, African Americans, and that's part of my life mission. I'm here to help educate, empower, and elevate the underrepresented groups and help them achieve more success. And what we do, I love it because we are here to help and share with resources and advice and tips. So when I see that we are able to help somebody, and you and I can see, in the cohorts that you and I did, we see how things change from the beginning of the process, the HACE Emerging Leaders Program, and we see how those participants feel and think at the end of the process. So we see that transformation, and it's beautiful because we know we're helping somebody, and there's a chain effect because that person is going to be seen by other people, and that's going to also inspire and elevate others. So that's why we do what we do.
It's a ripple effect. We have our alumni from that cohort that are now bringing others in, right? Because of that as well. So we have Jose Ceron. I get the part of exposure. How do you get noticed when everyone is trying to use the same tools on social media, campaigns, Facebook, etc.? What's really working for businesses? So this is from the business perspective to stand out.
Yeah. So the good thing is that most businesses, especially when I think about medium-sized and small businesses, they're not really fully leveraging, a digital marketing the right way. Most businesses are not using Facebook ads properly. It's sad, but it's it's true. Even the same thing with Google Ads, SEO, helping a business to rank high on the first page when somebody does a local search. So there's so much low-hanging fruit, and my advice to you is learn about how to do these things and do it for somebody. Even if you have to do it for free, find a customer, find a client, find somebody, a friend that has a company, and say, hey, let me do this thing for you, see how it works. Because once you do it one time and you get good results, that becomes your presentation card. Then you can say, hey, I have run this type of campaigns. Here are the types of results that I have achieved. And no, there's nobody that has been, I've been doing Facebook ads for 7 years. Nobody, because they didn't exist. So it's kind of the same, if you do it right now and you get certified or you get the training, you are still in the beginning part. So talk about specific business results that you have delivered for somebody. And that's how I would start. And the more specific, the better.
Yeah. That's great advice. I think, sometimes we underestimate the value of social media, especially now, right? The digital marketing space has just increased tremendously in the need because everybody's behind their computer, whether it's Instagram or, you talked about Facebook, LinkedIn, and then videos and doing these types of which assets pivoted to last year, right? It was well, we want to get in touch with our reach and our network, so let's do these cafecitos. So that's one example of us pivoting as an organization. So Jose, let's go ahead.
And I know a few months ago we were talking about TikTok. So it's not only Facebook and Google, but some thought leaders are using TikTok very effectively. I don't know whether many of you are on Clubhouse. Clubhouse, you have to check it out. By the way, I have a few Clubhouse invites. You need it right now. It's by invitation, so please connect with me, and I'm happy to send you an invite. But Clubhouse, it's an audio-only app, where basically you go into a room and you may have some experts talking about a topic, and it's almost like eavesdropping on somebody's phone conversation, or it's almost like going into a live podcast, but you hear so much valuable information and advice, and over time, all kinds of organizations are going to also use Clubhouse as a way to share information.
I've heard of that, so I'm taking you up on that offer. Please.
Yeah. I'll give you one of my invitations.
Jesus, okay. Last thing you want to say in terms of what are you most hopeful for this year?
Yeah. So I am very, I am a glass half full kind of person. I choose to think in a positive way, even though I'm very skeptical. So I am excited about the year. I am looking forward to the country, moving forward. I am excited about the opportunities now that things are kind of falling into place with the pandemic. And I think 2020 is going to be a year of change and evolution and transformation for a lot of people. So my own mantra is let's not think or about what happened or about the complaints. Let's look at the opportunities and the potential and take action. So this year for me,
Jose, I know we got to wrap up. So
yeah, this year it's about doing things. Yeah.
Doing things, taking action. Well said, and about mindset, right? Having that positive mindset. Yeah. Gracias, Jose. Un abrazo. I'll see you soon. I know we have something coming up. And then, so all of you tuning in, gracias y hasta la próxima. Take care.
Adiós. Gracias.
Adiós.